So, coming at you with another late night video. I'm checking the clock. It's like 9 o'clock at night. I don't know if you can tell because the windows are shut, but it's dark out. I don't know why I always make videos at night, but here we go. So, I thought it would be kind of fun to do kind of like a book haul. And what I mean by kind of is these are going to be recent-ish books that I've bought, and recent-ish is going to mean like within the past few months, because I go through, I don't know if anyone else does this, but I'll go through spells where it'll be like half a year, months and months and months, I won't buy a single book, and then suddenly like a switch will flip in my brain and I'll buy like a handful of books within like a few weeks or a month. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to kind of show y'all recent-ish books that I've bought and see where the video goes from there. So I gotta go scrounge up where all these books are because they're some are right there, but I'll be right back. I've bought more than that, like, because that's encapsulating ones that from probably like the past 6 months, half year. I feel like I've gotten let me double check. I feel like there's like a spot where I put some books and I'm not thinking of it. Let me double check my room real quick because I usually have a stash in there. Okay, for some reason I thought I would have had more, because I feel like I've bought more books like recently, like within the past couple weeks, but I guess not. So, these are in absolutely no particular order. They're just from how I grabbed them. So, here we go. And some of these you will have seen in my bookshelf tour because I have had them. These are kind of encapsulating ones that I've gotten just like within the past half year, 6 months time frame. So some of these will have been on my bookshelves for a while. Starting with this first one here. Sorry. I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. I got this one because of Cat Paperback Dreams on YouTube. Because I'm not usually one for horror, because like I've said before, I'm a scaredy cat, but all she said was the main couple are going on a trip to visit his parents, and then you just get mind flipped. And I'm not one for horror, scary, but I do really like stories that will like mentally, psychologically scramble your brains. Like I really like the show Hannibal. So next one is How the King of Alphine Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. This is kind of a collection of short stories to go with her Folk of the Air, Cruel Prince series. I've been meaning to read/reread that because I do have the whole series, but I've only read the first one, The Cruel Prince. And so I saw this at Target and I was like, well, here's the motivation I need to start reading that series. Spoiler alert, still haven't done it yet. Next is the Merciful Crow and the Faithless Hawk by Margaret Owen. I believe I said this in the bookshelf tour, but I'll say it again. This to me kind of has similar vibes that the Six of Crows does. So if you liked that and you're wanting something that is, at least in concept, very similar, I would recommend this because it's about this prince who needs help hiding from the evil queen. And so he goes to this group of mercenaries and is like, hey, if you hide me, protect me, get me out of Dodge from the queen who wants to kill me, then whenever I take the throne, I will make sure you are protected. Cool? Deal. Awesome. Next is A Neon Darkness by Lauren Shippen. This is, it recently came out because I pre-ordered it like months ago. But this is another companion story to go with the podfic, The Bright Sessions. And this is going over Damien's story. I like how Lauren Shippen knows who the favorite characters are, because I've said it before, but like Adam and Caleb are my favorite characters in that podfic, and so the first book she wrote was about them, and then Damien's my second favorite character. I've only listened to like the first little chunk of it, but I do like him because I just have a weakness for those characters that are just cocky and self-assured and Flynn Rider-esque. So, yeah. Next we have Loveless by Alice Oseman. I haven't read Alice Oseman before. I do have Radio Silence over there. Still haven't read it. I'm pretty sure I'll like it just because comparisons to Welcome to Night Vale have been thrown around, and I really like Welcome to Night Vale, so I just haven't read them yet. But I liked the concept and the kind of themes that she would be exploring, talking about in this book. That's good. Next is one that I'm really excited about, and it should come as no surprise if you saw my video talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that is something I got for Christmas, which is some of the comic books to go with Avatar: The Last Airbender. I knew that the comic books existed in theory for a while, but I never really had any interest reading them until I saw a comment. This was another like Twitter post that I saw on Pinterest, because I don't have Twitter, but I do have a Pinterest, and they were saying that in the show they really wanted to see the gang just like goofing around, being together, and being dorks, and someone was like, read the comics, they are that. So then I got really interested, and I was like, hey, Christmas is coming up. So I got a few of I got a few of those to read. Sorry, my eye is itching. Next, I got a few more of the Twisted Tale stories, the like Disney Twisted Tale things, because I do have, you probably saw if you saw my bookshelf tour, The Reflection, which is Mulan. So I've got a few more that go with some of my personal favorite Disney stories that they've converted into the Twisted Tale books. So first is Unbirthday by Liz Brazwell. This is kind of like something's wrong with Wonderland and Alice has to go fix it. Honestly, I don't know why they called it Unbirthday. They could have just called it Looking Glass, because isn't that what happens in the Looking Glass story? Like, something's wrong with Wonderland, she has to go fix it, and then it's like the title was already right there. I don't know why they didn't do that and why they called it Unbirthday. Maybe it'll make more sense whenever I read the story, but I'm a sucker for Mad Hatter, so. And then I got, Liz Brazwell wrote all of these ones that I'm about to show you, these next two, as well as Unbirthday, but I got As Old as Time, Beauty and the Beast. I do like the Beauty and the Beast story, but I'm not gonna say it's one of my absolute favorite. The only reason I got this one is because it was interesting, the concept of like Belle's mom cursed the beast, and apparently they must work together to unravel a dark mystery about their families that is 21 years in the making. So that got me interested to figure out what the story is there. And then I got Straight On Till Morning, which is, the tagline is confusing to me because the tagline implies something, but then if you read the flap, it's something else, because the tagline says, "What if Wendy first traveled to Neverland with Captain Hook?" But then if you read the summary even says, like, she's having to go back to Neverland with the pirates, so this isn't the first time she's been to Neverland, but whatever. More of the Captain Pirate people are good for me, and I do really like the Peter Pan story, so. This next one I'm actually excited about, and I just got it today, and that is Lore by Alexandria Bracken. Did I say that right? Yeah, Alexandra Bracken. That. First of all, can we look at this cover? This is freaking beautiful. I have such a bad habit of doing this, but I'm not gonna lie. More than half the reason I bought the book was because of the cover. But I'm a sucker for Greek mythology. As you've seen, I have an entire Rick Riordan shelf. So I'm a sucker for Greek mythology, and this does actually sound kind of interesting. So it's kind of like there were a handful of Greek gods and goddesses who slighted Zeus or did something bad. So as punishment, Zeus is like, okay, cool. So every 7 years, for like a few days, mortals, or you will become, to these gods, you will become mortal, and then actual humans can hunt you, and if they kill you, then they will take your place as a god. And then apparently the main character, her name is Lore, which is pretty cool. She like got out of that a few years ago, but for some reason she has to get back into it, and it's like this whole big thing. And I'm wondering if it has to do with Medusa, like if it's related to the Medusa story, because Athena is in here somewhere, and the cover, but I don't know because I just got it today. Next is Crave by Tracy Wolf. This kind of is like Vampire Academy in the sense of the main character goes to a remote boarding school, and there's vampires. But all I know, I have read some of it. You can see I got to like page 36, so I'm obviously know what I'm talking about. But the main character goes to live with her uncle, I think it is. Whatever. She goes to live with her uncle, and her uncle is like the headmaster of this boarding school, and then somehow or another vampires happen. I don't really know. It seemed like just a kind of nice, easy, guilty pleasure book. I am actually pretty interested though, because that was just released in 2020 and the second book is already out, so I'm like, and this is not a thin book. It's like is it over like 500 pages? Yeah, it's like almost 600 pages long, and this author managed to write this one and the sequel within a calendar year. I don't know how she does that. Next is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. I have a certain nostalgia for the Mortal Instruments series and Cassandra Clare as a whole because I read her stuff like back in high school. This is the first book in her Last Hours collection. I don't really know much about this book. Yeah, I think I've read that this can be read as a standalone story. Like, you don't have to read her other stuff in order to read this, but that it would help if you had read the Infernal Devices before this. So that, to me, says that this takes place after the Infernal Devices, but before Mortal Instruments. I don't know. I kind of lost track after I finished the Mortal Instruments series because I didn't really want to read the Dark Artifices because, you know, I didn't really like Emma as a character in the last book in the Mortal Instruments, City of Heavenly Fire. I don't know if this is gonna upset anyone, but I didn't really like Emma in what we saw of her in City of Heavenly Fire. I thought she was very like selfish and manipulative. And yeah, I understand the situation hang on. Sorry, my dog was hungry. I understand like the whole situation, like her parents and everyone in the her institution died. But I don't know why I didn't like her and why I got a weird vibe from her, but she just seemed very selfish and manipulative to me, and I was like, I do not want to read an entire series with her as the protagonist. Although I did see Abby Bosworth's video on it, and she actually seemed to really like it, even though she was saying that there was like some weird stuff going on. I don't know. But that's not the point. That's a completely different side tangent. Not relevant. Last one is the Tower of Nero, which I am very excited about because now that means I have, this is for the Trials of Apollo. So now this is the last book in the Trials of Apollo series. So now that means I have all the completed series of Rick Riordan, except for the Kane Chronicles. I don't own the Kane Chronicles. Please don't get angry at me for that. I'm just not interested at this point in time. I have enough of him to read as it is without adding more to it. So yeah, I got this literally as soon as I could. The day after it got released, because I was really, really excited to finally have the last book in the Trials of Apollo. Percy Jackson, Rick Riordan is another one that I'm just always going to have like this kind of nostalgic attachment to, because it's a story that I started reading like back in high school, and I could give a whole list of just like stories, like book series / authors and TV shows that I'm just, no matter how long they go or if they get bad towards the end, like I started watching them like back in high school, and it's been years, and I just have like this sentimental attachment to it. Criminal Minds and Supernatural and Teen Wolf are some shows that are examples of that. Like I started watching all those back in high school, and no matter what the later seasons throw at me or how much I might not like the later seasons, which I'm not saying I do dislike the later seasons, I'm just saying I haven't seen the like later seasons yet, but I really like the earlier seasons of all those shows. I'm just always gonna have such like an attachment to those shows. I could give a whole separate video on that. Alright, yeah, so those are all the books that I bought recently-ish, and by recently-ish I mean like within the past 6 months to a year. Honestly, with the way this year's been going, time has just, woo, you know, like to that Jenna Marbles quote, life is short, but also like incredibly and insufferably long at the same time. That has been this past year, so I hope this was somewhat entertaining to you. I know I'm kind of scatterbrained at the moment. This was extremely last minute, hence why it's at like 9:30 at night right now. So yeah, as always, if you have any ideas or suggestions for future videos, please feel more than free to leave them in the comments below. Or if you just want to say anything, leave them in the comments below. I don't know. That's all for this video, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.